Welcome everyone to another video. This one we're going to be doing the SAM project 1A. So I'm going to attempt to actually read the instructions instead of trying to do these things by memory. So if there is a little bit of a lag, that's because I'm actually reading the instruction and not trying to do it by memory, where I tend to either skip a step or just do something out and out wrong. So let's attempt to do this correctly. So I've opened up the 3A1, the end of project, and I'm going to save it. Notice that my name is there. So let me save it, and I'm going to put a 2 in it. I've already done this, so I'm just going to click here so I don't have to make any changes. Yes, I want to save over it. So it tells me that Brett, who is an insurance agent for the Great Midwestern Insurance Company in Milwaukee, is analyzing the invoices that he sent to clients and the sales he generated in the third quarter of the year. So he wants you to help him complete the analysis. Since you are an accomplished Excel person, you are making lots of money by helping them. So there's a great reason for you to learn Excel. So we're going to go to the client invoices worksheet, and I'm going to go in cell B3. We're going to insert the date formula. Now normally we've been doing formulas and using the date function from here. That was my phone going off in the background that you may have heard. So I put it and forwarded the call. So I could do the date here, but let's just do something different. Just so you have another way of doing it, I'm going to type in date here. Now don't hit the enter key, you want to double click. And notice it gives me year, month, and day. So it's 2021, comma 6, comma 1. I'm putting in the closing parentheses, and it gives me the format that I want. Remember, if you're a Mac, it's just going to say 21. It's not going to say 2021. Now in column F, Brett wants to display the age of the invoice, which is the number of days between the current date and the invoice date. So here's the age of the invoice. So if you recall from one of our previous exercises, the date is nothing more than a number. So, and then it's shown as a physical date. So let's go in and hit the equal sign. And we want to subtract from the current date. Remember that we need to use F4 so that we're going to get this. When we copy it down, it's not going to adjust. And here is the invoice date. So we're going to subtract the invoice date here. Click on enter, and it gives us 78 days. Wow, that's kind of, oh, that makes sense. Spot check is, this is a little bit less than 3 months or 2.5 months, which would be 75 thereabouts. So we did good. Let's copy this down, and we're going to fill without formatting. So, which we've done here. So now we're going to do in column G the number of days that it's overdue. So let's click on the days overdue. That's going to be the current date minus the due date. So again, we're using the equal sign. We're clicking on the current date, hitting F4, minus the due date. So this apparently is 30 days overdue. Let's go down and copy and fill without formatting. So we're good here. That is number 3, or will be number 3. In column G, Brett wants to calculate the number of days invoices. If the invoice is greater than 30 days, it is overdue. Calculate the days overdue as follows. So we've done that in cell G6. We're using an if function. So you can see that we've calculated this here, but I wanted to do it this way, which is really not right, just to show you how you have minus days in here. So now let's go and do this correctly. So what we want to use is an if function. So I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to use a logical if, and I'm going to choose if the age of invoice is greater than 30, we're going to subtract the due date from the current date. So value true, we're going to subtract the due date from the current date. So here is the current date. Make sure that you're hitting F4 minus the due date. And then if it's not, we're going to make it 0. So let's just take a look at this real quick. We're checking to see if F6 is greater than 30, because obviously that means the age of the invoice is over 30. Then we're going to check to see how many days it's overdue. By subtracting from the current date, we're subtracting the due date. And then we'll put it there, otherwise we're going to put 0. So let's click here. And notice the minus 13. So these all should be the same, but these should turn into 0. So let's go and see what happens. Let's copy it down. And we're going to fill without formatting. So we're good here. So that looks good. So that is number 3. Number 4, Brett sends an email reminder to clients with overdue invoices of amount more than $1,000. Provide a quick way to identify them. So what we need to do is set up an AND. So this is for A. In H6, let's click in H6 first. Then what we're going to do is use an AND function, which is going to return true if the number of days overdue in G6 is greater than 0 and the invoice amount must be greater than 1,000. So let's go and look in logical, and we see an AND. Remember, with an AND, they both have to be true in order for it to return, for the function itself to return true. So the first part is if G6 is greater than 0. Well, G6 is greater than 0. And the other function is the invoice amount must be greater than 1,000. So here's our invoice amount, greater than 1,000. And that looks like both of them should be true. So let's click OK. And then let's drag down and we'll do a fill without formatting. So we have true, 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 false, false, false. So I'm going to look to see if what we should have. True, false, false, true, false, true, 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 false, false. I'm looking at figure 1, which tells me everything that I have, and I'm looking at the days overdue, and everything there looks really good. So we're doing number 5. Brett assigns each client a rating of A, B, or C, depending upon the number of days that the invoice is overdue. Display the information using a nested if function. So let's go back and let's take this slow. In cell 6, you're going to insert a formula to test if the days overdue is less than 1. It displays an A rating if it's true. Then we're going to use another nested if, or an if. Let's try this again. We're going to use the nested if to check to see if the days overdue is less than 30, which would B. Otherwise, it's going to be C. So it sounds a lot harder than it really is. So let's take it one step at a time. It's going to require a little bit of typing, but I'm going to show you a little trick on how to not have to do all the typing. So let's skip part A, the part that says if the function test days overdue is less than 1, it displays an A. So let's forget that for right now. Let's go in here and let's create an if statement. And the test is going to be, I'm doing B. So what I'm doing is, so I don't have to manually type in an if, which you would have to, I'm going to use an if and then do the first part of the if and then copy and paste the other one. So you'll see what I'm talking about. I think it would be easier to do it this way. So let's go. So what we're going to do is test to see if the days overdue are less than 30. So here's days overdue is less than 30. Then that would give the value true AB. And notice I don't have to put in the quotes because it's the only thing there. It'll fill it in. So now we have a C and tab. So this one is going to be a C. So now we have our statement already here. So I'm going to just copy this. And then I'm going to delete it. Now let's do our if statement again. And let's do it with the first part of A, which is G6 is less than 1. So G6 is less than 1. So if it's true, it's going to be an A. Otherwise, we're going to just put this in here. And now otherwise I would have had to type this. So let's see if we need the equal sign or not. Let's click on this, okay? And we don't need it. So let's go in and fix this and get rid of this. So that's an easy way if you don't remember whether or not you need it or not. So here. So now we have a C in here. And let's copy this down without formatting. So we're good here. So you could have just as easily gone in and typed in the if statement manually. So we're good there. That is number 5. Number 6, our clients are eligible for a discount if they have an A rating or do not require an email reminder. So we're going to use an or this time. So the discount starts with an or, which means only one of them have to be true. So the let's see, I6 equals 6. So I6 equals, now here we have to physically type in the quotes for A, because if you don't put them in, then it's going to look at a cell reference called A and find out that there's no such thing as A. It's going to give you a nasty error message. And then, or the email is false. So let's click in equals, not equals, logical, the email here equals. Now, you're going to have to determine whether or not to put the quotes in. Now, because it's a formula and not text, let's type in false and see what happens. So we're going to click in OK. And so no discount. So let's copy this down without formatting and see what we have. So I'm going to go to my check over here. So we have false, true, true, false, false, true, true, false, true, 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 false, 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 true, true. So we're looking good so far. So that was number 6. Number 7, Brett also likes to keep track of the approximate number he has billed clients. So let's go in cell B18. So let's go to B18, which is right here. And I want to make sure that I did not miss something, which I did. Brett likes to keep track of the total number of current invoices he has sent to clients. So in B17, let's go in here and we're going to use the count function. Now remember, the difference between a count and the count A is the count only has things with numbers in it, where the count A will take numbers, text, and basically anything that's put in here. So we're going to put the count function. So there's all kinds of ways to do it. So let's go down to more functions and statistical and see if there's a count here, which there is. And what we're going to do here is count this range here. And that should give me 10. So we're good here. And now that is number 7. Number 8, Brett likes to keep track of the approximate amount that he's billed clients in bill 18. We're going to use the round and the sum function that totals the invoice amount in the range D6 to D15, rounds it to 0. So let's do the sum first. So let's click on auto sum here, which will give us the sum. And we want D6 to D15. So here's D6 to D15. Let's hit the enter key. And now we need to round it to 0. So here we're going to type in RO. And notice there's the round. So I want to double click. And notice it puts the parentheses in here. So now we just need a comma. And here you can see up here, comma, number digits. So comma, and we want 0 decimal places. So let's see what we get in here now this time. So we have 1406, and let's see what it rounded it up from. So let's undo this. So let's just look at, it's 600. So here was 573. So it's going to round it because this is a 7, it's higher than a 5. It's going to round it up to the next highest cent, or in this case, dollar. So let's redo this, and we're good to go. Go to Q3 sales worksheet and apply the accounting number format to the range B6 to B11. So here's B6 to B11. And I'm going to click on Home and just choose the accounting. Then C6 before the comma. All right, so here's a little bit of a challenge, not to worry about it though. So let's go to cell C6. So you notice that it's an if and error. So it's checking to see if it's an error, what should you do? Otherwise, you're going to put incorrect. So let's go, if the error, create a formula without using a function that divides the amount of the auto insurance B6 by B11. So let's click in here. And we're just going to type in B6 divided by B11. So here is B6 divided by B11. Now we need to make sure that we're using absolute reference. And let's see what happens. So now we have 23%. It does tell you to use absolute reference. Use the fill handle to copy down. It doesn't say without formatting. So we're looking good. I probably shouldn't have gone all the way down here. Let's delete this. And now we're going to take a look and see exactly what we have. So this is, let me go with the one that we just did first. So this is what we have here. So we can see 444, 23, 20, 22, 18, 17. Let's go up a bit and click on Client Invoices. And let me find my Word file that I need. And you can see that we have, oops, let me just drag this over. Let me click on Client Invoices. And we'll drag this back over. So we have 10 and 406 okay. And then we have everything else I checked is looking good. So that is everything that needs to get done. So that is everything. So hopefully this was helpful to you. And have a wonderful, wonderful day.